And you asked me over and over and over again for this. And so finally, you're getting it. Here's my thoughts on 13 Reasons Why. If you haven't heard of it already, Netflix released an original show called 13 Reasons Why. It's gotten a lot of press, most of it negative, and I've been asked by teens, parents, everybody on whether they should watch it or not, or whether they should show their kid or not. It's about a young girl, a teenager, who ends up dying by suicide, and she leaves behind 13 tapes, which she gives to 13 people, which describes how they were the ones that made her kill herself. It's a very dark show, as you could imagine. And so here are just a few of my thoughts on it, because I have a lot. First of all, what I want to analyze is it accurate to real depression and real mental illness, as you would see in a typical 16, 17-year-old girl? Yes and no. And the thing with her, with Hannah, the girl's name, Hannah, is that she did present many classic signs of depression. She thought everybody hated her. She withdrew for everybody. She kept how she was feeling secret for the most part. So she did present many of the classic signs of depression. And you also heard throughout the show parents being educated by the school about the signs of depression, which were accurate. You heard the students being educated by teachers after all this happened. The problem I have with the show is that as the story progressed more and more, and you saw flashbacks of Hannah and how she was acting before she ended up killing herself, is that she didn't quite portray quote-unquote normal depression. Of course, everyone experiences mental health challenges in their own way, but you were constantly questioning yourself on whether she was actually just doing this all for attention or not. And me as a viewer was actually asking myself, wait, is she actually depressed? Or is she just a drama queen? Because that's what I was getting from the story, and that's not a good thing when we're talking about real depression, real mental illness, is that we won't want to portray people with depression as drama queens or drama kings. We don't want that, because that minimizes the reality of this disease. So was it accurate? Maybe I give it about a 50-50 on different issues, on different ways. But the real question here is, people are saying it will help spread awareness. It'll help people who are depressed. It'll help give them hope. And when I was watching it, I did not experience any of that. This show made me depressed. It made me anxious just watching it. It had significant amounts of graphic language, sex, violence. It was definitely not a show for kids. And when I was watching, I was just like, I don't see how this could help somebody. Because first of all, it gave an iffy demonstration of what it's like to be depressed. And second of all, it didn't give any hope. It ends with her killing herself, very graphically. And that was my biggest problem with this, is that they had presented some kind of hope at the end. Maybe to some of the other characters, maybe to her friends who were listening to these tapes, I would have been more okay with this. More okay, not completely okay. The problem was, it didn't give that hope. So it presented mental illness as something not terribly accurate. And it also basically just told you, you're feeling this way, the way out is suicide. And that's a terrible message to bring someone who's depressed. Anybody, really. And not only are we presented with no hope, nobody in the film actually gets help. The school counselor is seen as somebody who doesn't care, as who's someone who will not help you, even though it's kind of the kid's fault, who are going to him because they aren't communicating with him about everything that's going on. Nobody takes medication, nobody goes to the doctor, gets diagnosed, nobody gets help. And I think not giving hope and not showing how you can overcome this, how you can get help, how is this supposed to do any good? So I don't see it personally helping anybody unless there's a very specific special situation. And I only see it doing a lot of harm. I only see how it could hurt somebody. Like I said, it made me depressed. It made me anxious. And I am pretty mentally healthy. I know how to counteract bad feelings. I have a game plan. I have systems. The show did depress me. And so I'm thinking of someone younger than me, less experienced in overcoming their struggles, how it would affect them. And I can only see it bringing someone down. And if you think, well, you're not the target audience this is aimed for. This is aimed at teenage girls or bullies at school. I haven't personally heard from many bullies, but I have heard from several teenage girls who I suppose that this was aimed at. That's what I assume. And they all told me that when they watched it, that some of them threw up at some of the scenes, especially the suicide scene at the end. They told me that it depressed them, that it was awful in every single way. So it's not just me, it's many, many other people. And in fact, my good friend, Dr. Aaron Cariotti, he wrote a blog post about how the CDC, the Center for Disease Control Prevention, how the CDC tells us to prevent a suicide contagion, which means one suicide causing others, which has caused others, and it's just a bad ripple effect. So the CDC has several points, and they say don't do this, or do this, do this. And 13 Reasons Why pretty much hits every single one of those things that they say not to do. So I'm sure you've heard this many, many times if you've heard any other reviews or read any other reviews of 13 Reasons Why, but I give it a big thumbs down. I don't think that this is good for anybody. I don't think this is educational for anybody. If you want to learn about depression, you Google it, and Google will literally give you on the side, if you Google depression, it'll give you a list of symptoms, it'll give you some causes, it'll give you all of this stuff. You don't even have to click on any web pages. There's plenty of education out there. 13 Reasons Why is not one of them. Though I will admit that there is one part of the entire series that I absolutely loved, that I thought, this is the part that makes the show great. It didn't, but that one part was. A math teacher is yelling after his students as they're exiting the classroom because the bell's ringing and everyone's just running out. And he yells after them, make sure you show your work. Thank you so much for watching my analysis of 13 Reasons Why. If you liked it, hit that like button. If you disagreed with me or had more thoughts on it, leave me a comment. I will answer back because I love communicating with all of you. Make sure you can check out another one of my videos that YouTube thinks you just might like. It's right over here. Make sure you subscribe so that way you never miss on one of my Friday videos, and you can check out the secret. Check out my free ebook on overcoming depression right here. Just click it. You can do it.